What do I think of when I think of Oakwood? I think of our motto. With faith and hard work, potential becomes reality.
54 years ago, when my parents started Oakwood School, they saw the kind of student who needed a different education. So they crafted a school that helped kids whose brains were wired differently to be able to be successful. And one of the things that people have said about bringing their child to Oakwood was that they felt love in the classroom. They felt love walking down the halls.
We've been doing this for a long time. Oakwood has provided lesson plans, typing classes, occupational therapy, fishing buddies, and all of these other methods for helping our students. And they do. But none of those is worth it without one ingredient that always is important for us, is love, nurturing love.
I remember my wife and I, within 5 minutes of being here, could feel that and sense it. It hits you right in your soul. The caring, the level of energy of the teachers.
It's still just a feeling that you still get every day. When I send my kid to school and I know that he's going to be taken care of and his needs are going to be met.
It's pretty phenomenal and life-changing, but it's also pretty expensive. But I have a dream that every child who needs an Oakwood education will get an Oakwood education. That's my desire, that's my passion, that's what I want to see happen. So, we're starting the Bob McIntyre Tuition Assistance Fund. And it's specifically because of his passion and my parents' passion to serve these kids that we want to name it that. But it's also because he was so sensitized to hurting kids. He wanted to see what we could do to help them.
1 in 5 students has a reading-based learning disability in the United States, but 1 in 5 students are not able to afford the price of a school that is tuition-based. But with tuition assistance, we're able to help to offset that cost and make Oakwood a possibility for a student and really change the trajectory of their lives.
We've talked about this a lot. It's very difficult for the average family to access Oakwood, right? It's hard because it takes a lot of sacrifice, right? Not just financial, like even for us, we're traveling 20 plus miles to get here. We're like, well, how do we create something where it is accessible to everyone? When I think about the donation we're making, I look at it in the vein of we're giving someone access to something as basic as learning to read.
You're not giving tuition, right? You're giving confidence.
We all want to do well by our kids, but the struggle is real. I'm obviously government service. My wife is retired Navy and we have 3 children. So you do what you got to do to make it happen. And that fund, we're super grateful for that, super grateful for the opportunity to take advantage of that fund. And it's there, it's working. We've gone through this before with another child. I will tell you, it happened with my son, and it happened last week. It's going to bring tears to my eyes. But Ailish, the other day, I was on the computer doing something, and she came up to me and said, "Hey Dad, can I read a chapter book with you?" And obviously, I'll stop, put everything down and go and read. What Oakwood gives you is that very specific, tailored response to the challenge that your particular child is going through.
It's such a supportive place, and for kids who have special educational needs, having that support is so important. Being able to build those children's self-confidence and be able to teach them and let them understand that they have value. We all, as parents of children who have struggled, I think if you have the ability to be able to help out other parents, I just think it's a really great thing. And I would like to believe that just thinking that any amount would be of value.
I think people don't realize that because they think that they have to contribute a lot to actually make a difference, but every little bit helps, and the more that we're able to come together for the benefit of our community, I think the more people we're able to serve.
I have 4 kids, and 3 of whom went through the elementary and middle school up from our house and were very successful. My daughter came along several years later and went to the same school, had the same teachers and the same curriculum, and was not successful. We had her tested, and sure enough, she had dyslexia, dysgraphia, and ADHD. But her grandparents started a school that could specifically serve her exact needs. As a parent who's been able to help my child learn, honestly, it crushes me to think that there are families out there who can't do that, who don't have that support, who don't have that tool, who can't provide that for their kids. Everybody wants to give their kids what they need.
We all have an opportunity to do something small, right, to make a donation. So if everyone could do the work for not just the next generation, but the next generation. Because Bob paid it forward. He paid it forward in this school, right? So, you know, why wouldn't you continue that legacy? And I can't wait for like 20 years. Like we come in here and it's a cornucopia of kids, like from all different types of backgrounds, you know, socioeconomic backgrounds. And to be able to think that our seeds had a harvest like that, yeah, I think Bob would be proud of that.
We had to keep going because it was needed. And now, as we face the reality of passing decades, it's there. Oakwood is bigger than the sum of its parts. Oakwood is bigger than its history. It's certainly bigger than its founders. And it needs to keep going because now it's no longer a luxury, it's a necessity.